In today's session, we are going to discuss about data directory structures. Directory directory structures. So when we were discussing about the Postgres installation, right? So we have discussed that the Postgres installation can be carried out in two ways. One is a binaries installation, and second one is database initialization. So what we are doing in the step of database initialization, we are using initdb utility. What we are doing, we are creating the necessary files that are required to run the Postgres cluster. Okay, the location where we have all these files, we call it as what? We call it as a data directory. Okay, we call it as a data directory. The location which contains all the configuration files and the required parameters which are necessary. Okay, which are necessary to run the Postgres cluster is called it as a data directory. Okay, now in this session, what we are going to check, right? We are going to examine what are all the configuration files that are available in this location, and what are the different types of directories that we have. Okay, different types of directories that we have. Okay, what is, if you remember, what is the location of our data directory? We have created the data directory under u02 postgres slash data underscore dir. This is the location where we have where we made it as a data directory. Okay, let me go and check what are all the configuration files and the directories that we have in this location. Okay, so now let me log in as a root user, sorry, Postgres user. Now let me go to the location cd slash u02 postgres data directory. So where am I? I am in the location of the data directory. Now let's check what are all the files we have. What are all the files that we have? If you see, these are all the files. Okay, these are all the files that are available in the location of the data directory. Now we will be discussing about each and every file that is available in this location, and we will be discussing something about the directories that are available in the data directory location. Okay, let me take a snippet of this. Okay, so these are the different types of files that we have in the data directory location. Now we will discuss one by one. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. Okay, so if you see there are so postgresql.conf is a file. Okay, postgresql.conf and postgresql.auto.conf, these are the parameter files. Okay, these are the parameter files. Okay, when we were discussing about the architecture, we have seen like there is a parameter called shared underscore buffer to define the size of the shared buffers, and we will likewise we will be having a couple of parameters to define their values. For work memory, it is work underscore memory. For auto vacuum work memory, it is auto vacuum underscore work underscore memory. For maintenance work memory, it is maintenance underscore work underscore memory. So where are we going to define these values? We are going to define these values using a file called parameter file, and at that time we have also discussed that what is the name of the parameter file? postgresql.conf. Okay, so these two files, Postgres, what does it mean by postgresql.auto.conf, that we will be discussing during the parameter file management session. Okay, so for now what you need to understand is postgresql.conf and postgresql.auto.conf. These two files deals with the parameter. Okay, these are the parameter files that are available in the Postgres. Okay, pg underscore hba.conf. Okay, when we were discussing about the postmaster process, we have discussed like postmaster is going to perform a host based authentication using a file called pg underscore hba.conf. Okay, what is the default location of the pg underscore hba.conf? Data directory. Okay, so what is the content, what are all the things that are available in pg underscore hba.conf, and all those things we will be discussing in the host based authentication session. Okay, what is pg underscore identity.conf? There is a concept of identity mapping. Okay, we will be discussing along with the host based authentication. To have this identity mapping in place, we can use pg identity.conf. Okay, no need to worry about. For all these files we will be having a separate session. Okay, in the parameter file concept, we are going to cover the concepts of parameter files. In the host based authentication, we are going to cover the hba.conf. Okay, now so this postmaster.pid. Okay, whenever you start Postgres cluster, what is the first process that is going to get started? The first process that is going to get started is a postmaster. Okay, this postmaster.pid. Okay, postmaster, if you see, this is a file. Okay, the postmaster.pid contains PID information of the postmaster process. Okay, PID information of the postmaster process. Okay, let us go ahead and check what does we have in the postmaster.pid. First of all, let me start the cluster first. pg underscore ctl hyphen d slash u02 postgres data directory start. So I have started the cluster. Now let's, where am I? I am in the data directory location. Now let's do lsf and ltr cat postmaster.pid. See, postmaster.pid contains what is the port number on which Postgres is running? 5432. Okay, 5432. And what is the this is the data directory location, and what is the PID of the postmaster? How can we check the PID of the postmaster? ps-eaf grep postgres. Okay, ps-ef grep postgres. This is the postmaster process. Okay, this is the postmaster process. What is the, where is the PID? 3129 is the PID of the postmaster process. If you see here, the same 3129 is available under the postmaster.pid file. Okay, postmaster.pid is a file which contains the information about the PID of the postmaster process. Now the next file what we have is postmaster.opts. Okay, postmaster.opts. Okay, this is a file which contains information about what are all the parameters. Okay, what are all the parameters that we have passed. Okay, this contains the information about what are all the parameters that we have passed to start the Postgres cluster. To start the Postgres cluster, or what are all the options that we have given to start the Postgres cluster. So if you see in my last session how I have started the Postgres cluster, pgctl hyphen d, the location of the data directory, and start. Okay, now let's check what this file contains. Cat, what is the file name? Postmaster.opts. Postmaster.opts. If you see, this is how we have started, right? The same information is provided in the postmaster.opts. Opts refers to options. Okay, and there will be a one more file. There is a one more file called pg version. Okay, pg version means this pg version is a file which contains the information about the version of the Postgres, which contains the information about the version of the Postgres currently on which version we are running, so that we can check using pg underscore version. Just cat pg underscore version. See, we though we have installed 15.7 or 15.8, the pg underscore version is a file which contains the major version of the Postgres release which we have installed in our system. Okay, that's what pg underscore version contains. So with this, what we have completed? We have completed different levels of files that are available in the data directory. So now we need to discuss about the directories. What are all the directories that are available? Among that, there are two directories which we need to have an attention. One is a base directory and second one is a global directory. One is what? Base directory, and second one is a global directory. What base directory contains and what global directory contains. Okay, what global directory contains? This global directory contains, okay, this global directory contains information. Okay, this global directory contains the information about the global objects. Okay, what are all the global objects that we have? We have global objects like cluster. Okay, sorry, users and what, table spaces, right? Likewise, okay, this global is a directory which contains the information about the global object. Okay, this global directory is independent of a particular database. When I say independent of a particular database, it doesn't depend on a databases. Okay, global directory, okay, global objects data, as I said, like global objects data will be available in the global objects data will be available in this global directory. Okay, that's what you need to remember. Global, okay, global directory contains the information about the global objects. Okay, information about the global objects. Now let's go and check what is there in the global directory. Okay, let's go and check what is there in the global directory. Now let me go to global. Okay, so if you see ls-ltr, ls-ltr, you are seeing some OIDs. OID, what does it mean by OID? In Postgres, okay, in Postgres there is a concept of OID. OID means object. OID means object identifier. What does it mean by an object identifier? In Postgres, whenever you create anything, okay, whenever you create anything, a unique number will be assigned. Okay, a unique number will be assigned. Okay, when you create a database, or when you create a table, or when you create a sequence, index, you name anything, whenever you create something in the Postgres, a unique number will be assigned to that we call it as a OID. OID is a unique number. Okay, OID is a unique number. Now select star from pg underscore class where OID equal to, let me give that OID. See, so select star from pg underscore class where OID equal to 1260. I gave 1260. Okay, 1260 is a OID of the table pg underscore auth ID. What pg underscore auth ID contains? No need to worry about all these things. This we will be discussing. What is /d, what is this pg auth ID, and all those things. Okay, pg underscore auth ID. So this pg underscore auth ID contains information about the roles and users. Which means when I say roles and users in Postgres, users and roles are of what type? Global objects. Means we don't create users at the database level. We create the users or roles at the instance level, and we will provide the privileges accordingly depending upon our requirement. So with this, what we can conclude is global directory contains the information about the global objects. Now what is the next directory we have? The next directory we have is base. Base directory contains the information. Okay, base directory contains, okay, what base directory contains? Base directory contains the databases information that is represented in the form of OIDs. Databases information that is represented in the form of OID. That is represented in the form of OID. Okay, so let's go and examine what is exactly there in the base directory. Now let me quit from here. Okay, let me quit from here and cd dot slash base. Okay, where am I? Under data directory, base location ls. So we have 145. Now let's check what are these 145. As I said, base directory contains the information about the databases that are represented in the form of OIDs. Okay, so OID, select OID comma dat name from pg underscore database. Okay, OID comma dat name from, 1 minute, select OID comma dat name from pg underscore database. When you, sorry, select OID comma database name from pg underscore database. See, in under the base directory 145, here also 145, which means each database, okay, each database is represented. Okay, each database is represented with the respective OID. Okay, base directory contains the information about the databases that are represented in the form of the OID of the database. Now let me create one more database. Okay, create database. What is the database name that I am going to create? Test. Now let's check what is the OID of this test. So what is the OID of this test? 24576. Now let's go and check. Do we see, if you check, no, a directory has been created with the name same as OID of the database. That is the difference between base and global directories. Okay, that is the difference between base and global directories. Now let's discuss about some more things like pg underscore val. Okay, pg underscore val. When we were discussing about the val writer process, we have also discussed that. When we were discussing about the val writer process, we have also discussed that val writer is a process which is responsible for writing val data from val buffer to where? Val files. Where, what is the default location of this val files? pg underscore val. pg underscore val is a directory which contains the val files. Okay, pg underscore val is a directory which contains the val files. Okay, now let me go back. cd pg underscore val. So if you see here, these are the val files that are available in the pg underscore val location, pg underscore val location. And now the next one is pg underscore stats. It contains information about the temporary statistics. Okay, now the next one is pg underscore ripple slot, means it is replication slots. Okay, whenever you create any replication slot for performing the logical replication. Okay, what does it mean by replication? That we will be seeing it in the next sessions. Okay, so and that will be the last session for the Postgres DBA course. Okay, so whenever we create the replication slots, okay, that information about the replication slots will be stored in the pg underscore rip slot directory. And one more table is like pg underscore tblspc. It contains the information about the table spaces. It contains the information about the table spaces. Okay, this will be covered during the table space management. Okay, this will be covered during the table space management. And pg underscore logical. Okay, whenever we enable the logical replication, pg underscore logical. Okay, pg underscore logical contains information about the status of the logical decoding. Information about the status of the logical decoding. No need to worry about all those things. For everything there will be separate concept. Okay, and the information about the logical decoding. And pg underscore subtransactions. Where is that pg underscore subtrans? Pg underscore subtrans. Where is that? Yeah, pg underscore subtrans. It contains the information about the subtransactions. Okay, it contains the information about the subtransactions. Okay, okay. This is about the briefly about the different types of files and directories that are available in the different types of files and directories that are available in where data directory of the Postgres cluster contains the data directory of the Postgres cluster. Okay.